welcome to Bill's Babble. I'm your host, Avery DeMarco. I'm a senior sports communications major and a lifelong Buffalo Bills fan. This is a place where we make sports fun, relatable, and easy to get into, especially for college girls who want to learn more about the game without all the pressure. From breaking down big moments to chatting with passionate fans, I've got you covered. Let's get started. With Michaela Engstrom, a student at Rochester Institute of Technology. Michaela has photographed for the Buffalo Bills and currently serves as a supervisor of photography for all RIT athletics. This episode is also showing why women might want to get into sports because you never know, it could turn into a career. Opportunities are increasing. According to UN Women, approximately 35 female commentators have been hired by the Olympic Broadcasting Services for Paris 2024, raising the percentage of female commentators to nearly 40%, a nearly 80% increase compared to Tokyo Olympics, and over 200% from the Rio Olympics. And the possibilities don't just stop there. The studyjournal.com lists 200 different career paths in sports. That's 200 ways that you can turn a passion for sports into a professional career. And Michaela will share her journey today and how she got into sports photography, and will give advice to anyone who's looking to turn their passion, or what hopefully will turn into a passion for sports, into a profession.
Put yourself in a position where people will see like you're supposed to be here for a reason.
That's Michaela Engstrom, and let's hear more from her in today's episode. So
Awesome.
Michaela, can you tell me a little bit about yourself and what first got you interested in sports photography?
Oh my goodness. Okay, so I grew up an athlete and most of my family was athletic, so I was always surrounded by sports. But I think what really got me into photography was trying to figure out what I wanted to do post high school. And I really knew I was bad at math and science, so I knew that was not going to happen at all. And then art kind of came naturally a little bit to me, thanks to my mom. And I picked up a camera for the first time around like the age of 15. And when I found out that sports photography is a real career, I kind of took my love for sports and blended it with my love for art. And I started photographing sports photography in high school for the yearbook around the age of like 17 and continued it.
So for Monmouth, I do like the broadcasting, like the sports filming. And it's kind of like similar to like how I got into it. Like I played sports forever, and I knew that in college I kind of want to step away, but I still like love sports, and I found myself there, and like I love that too, so I totally get that. Was it like
it's the best way to keep it in your life, especially when you're not playing?
Yeah. Was it always something that you like knew you wanted like a little bit, like when you were younger? Like
No. I think I went through every like cliche phase that kids get when they grow up. Like there was the part of me that wanted to go to vet school, and then I know like in 9th grade for some reason I really enjoyed like science before I found out I was really bad at it. So that was interesting to me. And then for some reason I tried to convince myself I would go into math. So like I think I went around everywhere. I think nursing school was also like something middle school me thought about. But sports never really came into play until the end of my athletic career with my injury. I tore my rotator cuff, and that was just like, okay, we're done. And finding out that I could keep sports in my life, even while I'm not playing, was a really big part of why I went into photography, because I knew I wanted to be a part of that community somehow still.
Yeah, so you're in college now, obviously, and if I got this right, you're now supervising photography for like our RIT athletics.
Yeah, so I am the supervisor of photography for our entire athletics department here at RIT, which means I pretty much oversee my group of creatives between photographers and videographers and our graphic designer. for all 24 NCAA teams that we have here at RIT, including our D1 hockey teams. So, yeah, that, I don't know how I even got to this position, I'm not going to lie. I saw a few people post that were in, like, I can't say it's like a club, but like in this job that I have here when I was a senior in high school. And I reached out to them and I asked them how I could even get into this process. And they told me, just keep shooting. We'll, like, come meet us when you come to campus in August and we'll get you to a few events. And I kept shooting, like, volleyball and soccer once I got there. And from that was just kind of for my own thing. And then in the spring, the person that in my position that year, so of my freshman year, reached out to me and was like, hey, we've seen your work. We really want you to apply to join. So I applied and I got hired in the spring of my freshman year and kind of have been shooting ever since. And at the end of my sophomore year, I was given the opportunity to step up into this position, just based off of how much work I was putting in and pushing myself, and I feel like it's paid off.
Yes, it sounds like it has. What are the like? What does like your job like entail? Like supervising everyone.
Yeah, so a lot of it is just making sure the work gets done. But I'm scheduling all of our photographers and videographers for different events that we have. All of our home events are our priority, so we make sure all of those get covered on top of sending people to bigger, like, travel games, like, away. And then also making sure, like, our social medias are pretty up to date, where I'm constantly posting on our Instagram and Facebook pages, making sure we're interacting with the community as a whole, because that's a big thing of what draws people to RIT is our community here. And then also just making sure, like, we are currently trying to push our creativity as a brand here at RIT. We're show people sports is the biggest thing.
Yes. Can you share like a favorite memory or like moment that you captured during a game at RIT?
Oh goodness. My sophomore year, at the end of it, we had our hockey team win our conference championships, and we completely sold out our arena. It was a beautiful, fun day. Everyone was so happy. Our team ended up going to the NCAA championship. It was a big deal for us, and we had almost every single person on our team that day working this event. And I think that was so special because that never happened before. Like, even now, like, since then, that's never happened. And I really enjoyed that. And then just over the past 2 years, I've gotten really close with a bunch of teams and building not only the professional connections, but just my friendships that I have within these student athletes, and seeing those grow on and off the courts has been really beautiful.
Yeah. So, how has your role at RIT shaped your skills and confidence as a photographer?
Oh boy, I definitely struggle a lot with confidence, no matter the situation, even when I'm shooting. I always feel like I can push myself to do better, and I think I use that in a healthy way, to look for new ways to improve and also find ways that I think can improve more people, because I like to share them. I like to see other people grow and help them out whenever it's possible. So the biggest thing for me is just using it and knowing it's like, yes, I can do better, but look at how far you've come since you started, and not looking down at the negatives, I guess. Like, just because I'm not the best version of my photographer self yet doesn't mean I'm not in a good spot now. So I'm definitely using it as a learning tool. And I think I've used that in outside factors as well, as like just even being in this position, I have to talk to so many people, including things like this, and I love it. Getting to meet new people is great. But I grew up very much an introvert. I was very shy as a kid. So coming to college and then being in this job and now this position has pushed me a lot to talk to people, even when I don't really want to. It's pushed me to learn how to build my communication skills and build a network of a support system and of peers.
So you've like said this, you're like all self-taught, right?
I would say coming into college I was self-taught. Obviously now like my major is in photography, so I can't really claim that I'm self-taught anymore because I work with people who are leading the industry right now as my professors. And then I also am like, I'm always learning. I'm learning from people who have been in the industry for 20 years, but I'm also learning from people who just picked up a camera last year who somehow know all the magical tricks that I don't. And I give a lot of credit just to the people I surround myself with because once you step into a world where you're surrounded by a bunch of photographers, you can consider yourself self-taught, even if you're watching a YouTube video. But the minute you're taking a class or you're going to workshops or you're just asking around, you're learning from other people. And I think that's the biggest thing is that the photo community wants to see everyone succeed, no matter what level you're at. So I really don't think someone is ever truly self-taught.
Okay. Do you have like someone you like at least you look up to, or like not really a mentor, but someone who you think has like helped you the most?
Oh goodness. Okay, this is a really wild pull. So it's not even in learning how photo works, I guess, or like how to take a good picture, but just my roommate is like the best person I've been able to talk to about my work. She knew nothing about sports photography before I met her, but she has been someone who has been willing to look at my work and give it an honest opinion. And I think she is one of my biggest support systems and someone I look up to because she's always honest about something, whether she likes it or not. And I take that into my own world when people ask me for an opinion because they might be your best friend, but you want to be able to give them something that's real and honest and not just like pretend that you like it. Another person I would say I look up to a lot is my friend Sam Sue. He has worked all the way up to like Olympic trials already. He's done stuff with Nike and Adidas, and he is just the most creative person I've ever met. I think he has this beautiful eye for photography, and anytime I get to just sit down with him and talk, whether it's about art or if it's about life, I learn something new about how he sees it, and it makes me want to see the world more the way he does.
Yeah, so talking about your friend Sam and his success, let's get into yours a bit. So,
oh boy.
How did you land the opportunity to take pictures of the Bills? Like, how in the world did that happen?
I think I ask myself that at least once a week. It's definitely a crazy story. So, tracing back to December into January of this year, I started a project about the different kinds of women in sports, whether it be athletes, coaches, trainers, people in the media, just every kind that there is. And I did it revolving around these people, and I published their stories, and that was a big project for me because I love how much coverage women's sports is finally getting. And then a couple months later in March, I got a text from Ben Green, who is the head photographer at the Buffalo Bills. And he asked me if I wanted to come work an event for New York State flag football, which is really big because the Buffalo Bills are one of their biggest sponsors. Sorry. And that they are now getting sanctioned in high schools and colleges. So to be able to be a part of that program and because of my connection with women's sports was really, really fun to be a part of and really rewarding. And then somehow I kept getting asked back for a couple other events. They do a bunch in their community, and I love working like in the community more than anything when our players are going to schools or going to like fundraisers and just capturing like the love that the Bills have for their fans and that the fans have for the Bills. That is a big thing. And so I did a bunch of that over the summer, and eventually I got an offer to come work for the home opener and for all the home games for the season. So it was a lot of just knowing people and being available at the right time.
Yeah, it's still so cool. And I think it was probably over the summer you like popped up like on my Instagram, and I was like, that is crazy. Like, I know her. Like, that is insane. But can you actually talk more about this project? Because that's kind of the premise of this whole episode, is about women in sports and why women should be like more interested in sports.
Yeah, so the biggest catalyst to this is with the WNBA and especially Caitlin Clark being brought into that. The amount of coverage that went straight into that was tenfold of what it ever has been. And that kind of really sparked something in me of why don't we really show women in sports as much as men in sports, because it is a male-dominated field. And I wanted my project to revolve not only about the athletes themselves, but the people that have put their lives into this work. So I did a bunch of reading and writing on the history of women in sports. And I reached out to a bunch of people that I knew to be a part of the project. And I made a little blog series for a class based off of the different kinds of women in sports. And that, I wouldn't say it got big or anything because it was a short-term project, but it caught the attention of a bunch of people. And I got my chance to reach out to a bunch of people in the Professional Women's Hockey League, which is great because that's somewhere I really want to see myself working in the future. It's reached out to people all the way at the National Lacrosse League for the women's team, which is amazing. And I'm hoping to pick it up after I graduate and really kind of make it more of a across the country thing, meet more people, interview them, photograph them, and then share their stories with the world, because there are so many people that we don't know about who are making incredible like strides in like this time of women's sports. So I think it's just like it's such a relevant topic, and I'm hoping for us in this industry, and I really think like it just needs to be talked about more.
Yeah, is there a certain like story that really like stood out to you?
Hard to choose one. I feel like everyone I talk to has a good story. I think one that comes off the top of my head, so one of our women's assistant coaches here for the women's lacrosse team, she plays on the national box league as well as playing outdoor sports, and getting to hear her story about how she's gotten to that level of success and how she's giving it back not only to college kids, but she runs camps for younger girls in lacrosse and training them to become a better version of themselves no matter their age has been beautiful. And I just love seeing how much people want to give back, even if they're still in like active in the sport. They still want to give back and see people grow and do better for themselves and get to those higher levels.
Yeah, so kind of going back a bit, what is like the biggest difference between like photographing like college sports and like professional sports versus like your more like human interest type like projects?
Yeah, it's definitely different. The speed of sports is always going to be a little bit faster paced than if I were to take like portraits of someone in a studio versus um, someone taking their senior pictures or something. Um, I think it all boils down to like it's the common denominator of being someone that you can have a conversation with. That's my biggest thing is no matter what I'm doing is I'm always having a conversation with someone, trying to learn more about who they are and what I can do to show that through my photos. I've spent the past year really close with a few teams. That way I can build a trust and a relationship with them so I can tell their story, whether it's over one weekend or if it's over an entire season. And then also being able to work with them individually outside of it. I really think that it isn't that big of a difference. The only difference is how slow or fast you're going to be like working with people. At the end of the day, you just kind of need to be someone that people want to have a conversation with you, and you need to be genuinely willing to sit down and talk to people because that is how you build these connections, not only to the people you want to photograph, but to the people you want to work with.
Yeah, do you have any other tips for students like hoping to get like involved with not only like professional teams, but like really any like aspect of sports photography like while they're still in school?
Build your network and really like ask questions. That's the best thing you can do for yourself is ask questions, even if someone just says they like your image, ask them why. Ask them, figure out what is working in your work and what can be improved. I'm a constant believer that we're always learning, no matter if you're in school or not. And there's always something we can improve on, even if you're the best photographer in the country. I don't know how we would team that, but I feel like there's always something people can learn or improve on, no matter how long they've been in the industry or if they're just getting started out. Um, I think another thing is just find the people who you like their work of and try to figure out how they shot or like shot that work or got to where they are. And I wouldn't say like copy it, but like find a way to follow that path and make it your own. Um, I can shoot as many football games as I want to between high school, college, now the Bills, and I'm not gonna get better by doing the same thing over and over again. You'll only get like slightly bit, but once you start experimenting and learning from others, I feel like you're going to push yourself a lot more and see better results rather than hyper focusing on one little thing.
Yeah, so besides um, just like communication skills and like just like the constant drive to like wanting to better yourself, like is there like any like I don't know how to like word this, but any like tangible skills that are like essential?
Yeah. Um, I feel like the biggest thing is don't rely heavily on the gear you have. Like an expensive camera does not make a good picture, you know? The camera's not really doing the work here. It's you who's looking at what you're trying to take a picture of. So I think my biggest thing would be go out and consistently shoot. Like if you have a down time in your day or if you have a free weekend, go find something to take pictures of and continuously like practice. You don't need a $6,000 camera and a $2,000 lens to make the most beautiful image ever. You can go buy a starter camera and still take a beautiful image. You just need to know how to look at things. I would say learn, this is so niche, learn the basic exposure, like the photography triangle. It's ISO, shutter speed, and aperture. Learn that, have that down to a T. And if you have the option, go to a summer camp that teaches photo, go take a high school class. All of that stuff is applicable if you're going to take this even farther than just as a hobby. I learned a lot of what I was getting taught my first year of college in those high school classes, and it only aided me. It didn't do anything negative to come in with a bunch of knowledge. Read books on artists, look at their work, whether it's paintings or if it's photos or if it's drawings or even sculptures. We reference a lot of that work in photo too. So just immerse yourself into the world of art and don't just like shrug it off. Like if you have a chance to learn about something or go to a museum, like absorb it. Like that's the best thing. Be a sponge.
That was like a little confusing for me for not knowing cameras, but it makes sense. Have you faced like any challenges really? And like
Oh yeah.
what has been
All
like
the
your
time.
biggest challenge?
I feel like there's a stereotype with women in sports still, unfortunately. A lot of it is everyone's always like, oh, you want to do this to get close to people, or you're in it for alternative reasons rather than for like the love of actually being within a sporting community. So that is something that's like, I wouldn't say it's like a outward challenge or burden, but it's something that women mentally, including myself, have to deal with every time they go into work. Someone's gonna make a comment, whether it's to your face or behind your back. So that is just like always trying to like put yourself in a position where people see like you're supposed to be here for a reason. I think another challenge would just be it's a competitive field. It really is. It's small. Everyone knows everyone for the most part, and trying to find the right time to step in this industry is the biggest thing. Just because you have a job right now does not mean you're guaranteed to have one a year from now, 6 months from now, so on and so forth. So constantly trying to prove to people it's like you're here for a reason, and I make good work, so this is why you should hire me and you should keep me around. I feel like that's always a challenge. I would say like getting over like you are your biggest critic at the end of the day, and not taking things a little like don't take things too personal. It's really easy when you're in this field because art is subjective. So everyone's going to have an opinion, and there's only so many things that can be quote unquote technically correct about an image. So knowing to have thick skin and to surround yourself by people's opinions that you trust. So even if you get a negative comment, you know it's not coming from anywhere like ill or like from anything mean. It's just someone trying to help you get better.
Yeah.
And I struggled a lot with that. Even now I still do. There are some days that are better, but I mean, it's our work, and when we show it to people, we become vulnerable. So trying to like have a little bit of separation, I feel like, from yourself and your work, and knowing that people like when they're talking about your work, even in good strides, like it's not about you. Like it's nothing personal to you. So yeah.
So final question. If you could give one piece of advice to girls who are passionate and like interested about getting into like the sports industry in general, what would it be?
Oh goodness, one piece. I would say just keep going. At the end of the day, there's a lot of reasons people will tell you to stop, but it's like as long as you really have the love for it and the drive for it, there is room for you at that table. The right doors will open at the right times for you, and I really think it's like make as many connections as possible. if you're working one gig for a random team, meet as many people as possible that one day, because hopefully someday someone on that team will remember you and will bring you back for the next one. Just make yourself known in a good, positive way, and good things will come around to you.
Yeah, well, thank you so much, Michaela, for sharing your journey and insight. It's amazing to see like how an interest of sports can like truly take you so far, and it's especially inspiring for like women like considering a career in sports. Would you like to like take a moment and like give like a little plug and like where people can like follow like your journey and like what else you're doing?
Yeah, so I mean, you can follow me on Instagram. It's Michaela Engstrom Photo. Should I spell that out at all? It's pretty long. And then my work is also on my website. It's also linked in my bio and my Instagram. I'm really bad at posting, I'm not gonna lie. I'm more active when it comes to like story content so people can see what I'm up to. But I'm always open. My door's always open for people if they have questions or just want to chat. So feel free to reach out.
All right, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you for listening, and please check out Michaela's work on her Instagram. That's at Michaela Engstrom Photo. It is MIKAELAENGSTOROM Photo. And follow Bills Babble for more motivation to get into sports, and especially Go Bills.